Hey everybody, it's me, that guy who nobody's ever said anything remotely negative about. That was a lie. So there's a movie, and I'm surprised that not more people, praise it. If you follow me on Twitter, you know what I'm gonna be talking about, or if you read the title, you'll know my stances on it. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 is literally the best movie ever. So once I was talking to this about my class, I was talking about this to my class and how it was the best movie ever. And they're just like, isn't that a kid's movie? I was like, yeah, but because it's still a great movie. Just because its target demographic doesn't make it a bad movie. Basically, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 follows up the incredible first movie by adding more amazing scenery, and they actually add a good villain. The first movie had this pathetic villain, the mayor. The mayor wasn't funny. No, well, okay, he was a bit funny, but he wasn't a good villain. Like, you knew from the start, he's gonna be the bad guy. And I guess you still knew from the start that this villain was bad, which makes him a good villain, in a way. The villain is Chester V. I'm not even sure how to describe him. Okay, so I gotta give you the run-through of this story. So, the movie takes place 8 minutes after the original movie, which I think it's different from a lot of sequels. Whereas, Shrek 2 is a while after the first movie, and then, what else is a good example of this? Frozen 2. Frozen 2 comes out, a year after the first movie or something. I don't know. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 takes place 8 minutes after the original movie. It's in some of the opening lines. Flint Lockwood says, Sam Sparks, in the 8 minutes since we saved the world. It's great. But, so immediately, Chester V, he visits Swallow Falls, which, it's wrecked. I'm not even gonna play it off as it's habitable. It's not. There's food everywhere. It gotta be cleaned up. So, Chester V, Flint Lockwood's childhood idol, comes, and he says, hey, we're gonna clean up. Go to California. So they go to California, and Flint Lockwood gets a job working for Chester V. And he wants to be a Thinkwanaut, which is what Chester V calls his cool kids. Well, to be one of the cool kids, he gotta work. He gotta work hard. He gotta work really hard. So he works, and he works, and he works, and then at the celebration, he gets embarrassed because he thought it was him, but it wasn't. And he threw a party out anyways. So that night, he's pretty bummed out. Until Chester V sends his monkey, his purple monkey. Wait, no, not even, I don't know. She had a purple face but orange fur. It's really weird. But Chester V sends his monkey lady after him, who says, Chester V needs to see you. So then, Flint, he goes to Chester V, and he gets fooled by holograms again. Did I mention Chester V has holograms? Yeah. And so he talks to Chester V, who gives Flint Lockwood the bazooz. And yeah, it's supposed to turn off the machine from the original movie, because I'd assume you've watched Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, but if not, it's got this machine called the Flizdemafur. And it made food fall from the sky, but it's still running in the second movie, and it's making dangerous food creatures that they're gonna learn to swim. and they're gonna eat everybody and destroy the Statue of Liberty. That was the main plot. He didn't want to destroy the Statue of Liberty, which is part of why this movie is hilarious. His main motivation is to save the Statue of Liberty. So he goes out to the eye. Well, okay. So he was told not to tell anybody about it. What does he do? He immediately runs home screaming for Sam, his neighbor and girlfriend. Yeah, he cannot keep a secret. He even said that in the original movie, you know? And so then she forced herself to come with him. Like, he was like, there's no talking about this, is there? And she, 2 seconds later, came out fully dressed and ready, right after she had just woken up, and she was like, nope, we're going. All right. So then they get everybody. They get Officer Earl. They get Manny. They get, and they got the whole everybody. And they're gonna go to the island using Flint Lockwood's grocery machine. But then it nearly kills Steve the monkey. It nearly kills Steve the monkey. And Flint Lockwood still wants to use it. He's still like, no, we're using it. But then his dad pulls up in the boat. And they go. So then they make it to the island. And you get to see the beautiful scenery. Like, whereas California was like this land where Flint Lockwood is doing the imagining. This is where the filmmakers do the imagining. They make these beautiful scenes, and they have like 5 minutes dedicated to just showing them off and making amazing animal puns about the food creatures. Like, you got watermelon elephants, you got a tomato, you got jellyfish, you get cantaloupes. Yeah, you get cantaloupes. It's an antelope, but a cantaloupe. It's hilarious. And, they're chasing after Strawberry Man, who took the BSUSB. And, yeah, they catch him. And, yada yada yada. Chester V comes, and he isn't too happy with Mr. Flint Lockwood. He's like, no, you were supposed to come alone. Why did you come alone? And so then they go to the Flint Lockwood lab, where Chester V and Flint Lockwood, they hang by their underpants. It's hilarious. Like, it's one of the scenes where it's so geared towards children, but it's still enjoyable. And, Chester V gives Flint Lockwood some words of wisdom about how he shouldn't be friends with Brent, the bully from the first movie who came along. I hate Brent. I could make a video dedicated to how much I hate Brent, the man baby. He is a literal man baby. He wears a diaper. He's like 30. Grow up, man. He threw a fit whenever he didn't get to, cut a ribbon. Grow up. And he's not even funny. But, so, yeah, Flint stops trusting him because of an ancient Chinese proverb. And then Flint, kind of, freaks out whenever Brent gives him stew. So he karate chops it. And then he has talk with Sam, who says that there's another ancient Chinese proverb about how when a bully is your friend, they'll be the best friend you can, right? And then, so they keep on going. Yeah. Then they get to Syrup Land, where Sam says that maybe it's not a good idea to kill all the food creatures. And they have a falling out because Flint wants to do what Chester V says. So then they part ways. and whereas literally everybody else is finding out about how the food creatures actually are not evil. And also Tim Lockwood's on a boat. He's still on the boat, and he got pickle friends. You know, Flint, he's turning off the machine. And then when he finds out that it just reprograms the machine so that Chester V can use it, Chester V just throws him off the cliff. You know, Chad Chester V. No, he's not doing that for evil. He's doing it for business. And so then Flint Lockwood, he drifts in this water stream all the way back to where Tim Lockwood is, the cheese village. And when this happened, the Chester V friends, his people, they found out that everybody else found that the food creatures were good, and that LiveCorp, Chester V Company, it was actually evil. So they froze them and put them in little glass boxes and brought them to the factory that Chester V is making. So then we get a sequence of all the food creatures working together, and they get Flint Lockwood into the unfinished part of the factory for food bars. And Chester V, you know, it's revealed that he wants to use the machine to make better food bars because the food from them tastes better. You know, then he gets stopped. And at the end, we get this very, very wholesome scene about Flint Lockwood and Tim Lockwood where they're fishing. And it's a good movie. So this movie is so good because, first of all, I really like the art. Like, the art style, it's so unique. Chester V, like, he's not just some normal man, no. He's got noodle arms and legs. Like, he's shaped like a light bulb, and he lives in a light bulb. It's hilarious. Fun fact, my friend actually has a Chester V vest. But, you know, this movie, it embraces the weirdness by exaggerating the art style to be even more weird. And they just exaggerate how insane the scenario is. Like Food Island, where they're walking through syrup. And also how they're not even like trying with the food jokes. Like cantaloupes, they know they're not being funny, but they still say it. It's such a good movie. If I did have to choose one spot where this movie fails, it's Brent. Because the side characters in this movie aren't really as good as they were in the first. Brent, while he's not really whiny anymore, he lost a lot of his magic. Because he at least had some form of a brainer in the previous movie. Here, he's just completely degraded. And Sam is really only used for like 2 plot points, and that's it. She's just kind of left in the shed to be a boring character. Like in the previous movies, the side characters was where it shined through. Like with Officer Earl being Earl. Although Tim Lockwood makes up for this. Tim Lockwood, we stan him in this house. We stan Tim Lockwood. But this movie is overall incredible. Like, you know, there's no twist villain, which is the downfall of many movies, like most Disney movies. Because you're like, okay, that's the twist villain, and then wowee, it's the twist villain. Here, it's not a twist villain. from literally the first scenes, you can see that Chester V actually has something else going on. You know? Like, it's not like they're trying to hide what he's up to, no. They want you to know he's the villain. There's actually a term for, like, when you know something that the main character of the thing doesn't. But another thing is something I'm really a sucker for in, like, movies and stuff. A plot and B plot. Like, you got the main plot going on, and then you got the Tim Lockwood plot going on. Where Tim Lockwood, he got the pickles. This movie is just so good. It's my number one on the pedestal of best movies. Second is the original. All three top movies are Sony movies, because lots of Sony's older movies, they aren't the best. But recently, Sony has made masterpieces. Like, I'm pretty sure the Spider-Verse movie was Sony. Mitchell's vs. the Machines. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs original was 1999, I think. Which, it's not really recent, but it's still good. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 is actually from 2013. It still holds up really well. But, like, they've had, like, one outlier for a bad movie recently, and that's the Emoji Movie. But, you know, bravo, Sony. You made the best movie of all time. I don't know if I'll ever dethrone it as my favorite movie.